The doors of reality have been forever thrown open, and what's beyond is truly infinite. Imagination Adventurers, First Soldier, Episode 2, Chapter 1 has been a haymaker of revelation and meaning. Terrible meaning that not only adds tempestuous power to the storm over Gaia and her beloved people, but also recontextualizes so much of what has happened since 2020. In this video, this terrible revelation will be explored along three main avenues. What is reality? Who and what is Alissa Goldie? And what are the broader picture emotions that begin to arise? Beginning with, what is reality? We know from the very outset of Ever Crisis that according to Sephiroth, the lifestream is made up of memories and possibilities which come together to form story. This would seem to directly mean that all worlds, the firmament of 3D spacetime and beyond, reality as we call it, is exactly this. Memories and possibilities. This idea is directly addressed in the closing notes of this first chapter, when a question is conjured about what is fact and what is fiction, and how does one decide or enforce which is which. While we do not know which possibilities the other Ever Crisis worlds belong to, we do know that the First Soldier possibility is part of the Beagle timeline consciousness, due to Stamp appearing prominently therein. As far as I am aware, this is the only instant of Stamp appearing in all of Ever Crisis. That these First Soldier possibilities precede Remake and Rebirth is therefore very likely important. Is creation linear or non-linear? At the end of Episode 1, Chapter 8, we learn that the First Soldier world, and possibly all Ever Crisis worlds, are memories. The First Soldier being Sephiroths at the edge of creation. This idea of all of creation being possibilities and memories aligns with what was revealed in the true nature of reality. What this means, though, is that outside of a given world's linear time, everything is occurring right now, non-linear. Someone with appropriate power and awareness could take advantage of this for their own benevolent or nefarious purposes. For instance, in the concluding breaths of Episode 1, we might not be observing a memory of Jenova attacking Sephiroth, but instead we might be observing Jenova attacking a memory in the post-rebirth creation where reunion is nigh. And in the end of this reunion, there can only be one Gaia, one truth for everything, one Sephiroth. If this ends up being accurate, this gives Meteoric context to what Sephiroth was offering Cloud at Remake's close. Static. Static has been a hallmark of space-time, reality being modified by great and exogenous forces since the second chapter of Remake. And since the collapse of singularity at the end of Remake, static has undergone changes. It has individuated, and the type of static has become the hallmark of which great power is related to it. At the end of First Soldier, Episode 1, Chapter 8, we witness a specific kind of static. Horizontal black bars, which always means Jenova and or Watashi Sephiroth. That's the insane Sephiroth. Jenova to their enemies. Even in reality's true nature, when two worlds are forced into reunion and Gaia screams under the torture, the utter fabric of existence is riven with horizontal black bar static. This is Jenova and a testament of their extreme power. However, in Chapter 1, a type of static that has been observed only once before unfolds, and it is not horizontal black bars. It is TV static tinged with violet. This was witnessed previously during the televised newscast covering the destruction of Midgar's upper plate. Of critical notes are that purple-tinged TV static is due to something other than Jenova, though it could still be related to Sephiroth. And the broadcast revealing Midgar's destruction and the very real destruction itself could have been a result of reality manipulation. Consider the camcorder footage It would seem fair to assume that what is recorded on that camcorder is indeed E equals mc squared, which is the mass of any object at the speed of light, which is a truth from all observers, in our universe anyways. Yet, before our eyes is demonstrated that what is recorded is not multiversal truth, as a scene that this camcorder never recorded flashes on. This both suggests that there are very few instances of absolute truth, and that what is recorded is itself its own kind of world, as we would witness soon, when realities bleed together with this violet-tinged TV static, and seem to do so at the behest of a self-aware, extremely powerful conscious intent. But if what's recorded is its own world, what is reality? In the concluding notes of Chapter 1, 3 more realities unfurl. The first such existence is sepia-tinged, which has thus far been the singular and only indication of absolute recollection, our E equals mc squared. This truthful recollection emanates from Bachman, the human recording this adventure. Following this sepia reality are novel experiences, realities flooded with the color violet for both Angeal and Sephiroth. It's extremely interesting that we, the cosmic audience, at least many of the patrons that I've had the honor of talking to, assume that Sephiroth's violet dream is a lie and Angeal's violet dream is at least more truthful. This despite identical coloration and seeming identical purpose. Both dreams give hope, inner fortitude, a sense of being loved and not alone, a greater purpose than oneself to fight for, all things that would be useful in an inner war against Jenova. Alternatively, both violet dreams could be a means to feed untruths, lies, fodder for the ego. We will have to wait and see. Whatever power is responsible for this violet light, it would need to be omni and be able to see the flow of consciousness as the Whispers do and as Sephiroth does, as it was able to accurately interact to specific purpose with two very different soldiers, both of whom would succumb to Jenova and despair one day. This omni being is not omniscient though, as it uses Lucretia's false name, Jenova. However, it is possible, assuming that this being is not Jenova, that this great violet consciousness believes Sephiroth is not ready for the revelation of Lucretia, not yet. Sephiroth's dream demonstrates two extraordinary insights in addition to the heart-wrenching recognitions of how lonely a soldier's life can be. Lucretia gives the young one-winged angel a braid to put on his sword. Likely, if put on Nameless, Sephiroth's current weapon, the boy would not see this braid in the space-time of the Beagle world, as he does not have the power to make manifest from the unmanifest, the power of creation, as Sephiroth is the avatar of death. Cloud is the avatar of creation. However, Masamune is a sword that does manifest effortlessly from the unmanifest. If the braid were put on that weapon, then this dream, like the dream date of Rebirth, where Holy came from, this dream with Lucretia becomes unquestionably real. All dreams, like all memories, suddenly become real. It is but a matter of perspective and the power to enforce it. What is fact? What is fiction? And who gets to decide? Of interest is that this Lucretia dream denizen would want Sephiroth to have something on his Beagle timeline physical self that would always embolden him with his mother's love. If this violet consciousness is not Jenova, such a gift would be a reckoning against Jenova. The other revelatory feature is the pumpkin soup. Sephiroth has been dreaming of pumpkin soup because of what happened in the pumpkin harvest event 1 year ago. In that event, Sephiroth and Glenn are about to enjoy hard-earned pumpkin soup in some other possibility or reality on the other side of Portal. However, the two heroes are sucked into the mighty portal materia instead before they can have the soup. The possibility of the young first soldier enjoying pumpkin soup is even referenced before we, the cosmic audience, soon thereafter. Following is a discussion of the nature of Portal. Anything that occurs on the far side of this wormhole cannot be remembered by the travelers. However, it is stated that all that does occur on the other side of Portal will be recorded in one's body, their DNA, their consciousness. The glorious romantic ramifications of this were explored in the Midsummer's Night Dream event. That whatever power is responsible for these violet dreams is aware of the pumpkin soup yearn within Sephiroth is potent in implication. A level of hyperspatial awareness, burgeoning omniscience would be needed. Also, that Sephiroth would draw attention to this pumpkin soup yearn in the Beagle possibility means that all ever-crisis events are linearly entangled. Canon, as it is often called, including one that happens where Crisis Core Zack, Final Fantasy VII Cloud, and the first soldier, young Sephiroth, and Cloud's dad all meet in VR, virtual reality. But how? Chadley might have an answer, as well as why are there hyperdimensional nights inside VR? What is reality? Increasingly, it seems to be exactly what Sephiroth, at the beginning of Ever Crisis, said it was. Memories, feelings, possibilities that come together to form story. What gives all of these potentials meaning? Story. To be explored far more in a video down the road. So who is Alissa Goldie? That she is far more than what she seems to be is so blatant that its conspicuousness is suspiciously distracting. The three most obvious culprits are that Alissa is a Jenova manifestation, or that this memory involving Alissa is being manipulated by Jenova, meaning that originally Alissa didn't look like Lucretia. Another prominent culprit is that Alissa is a clone or an experiment related to Lucretia due to Hojo's crazy, insane, evil intent. We know from the Pumpkin Harvest event that Hojo tortures Sephiroth. What is she though? The only concrete evidence revealed that Miss Goldie is not just another soldier second class is that she has a striking resemblance to Lucretia, Sephiroth's real mother, and Alissa even draws attention to this fact. Alissa seems to be supernatural, perhaps omni, as she loves the word world and speaks of the future yet to happen with glaring confidence, as if she knows what's going to happen. But then, Wedge also demonstrated this latter quality in Chapter 12 of Remake. There is potent and undeniable circumstantial evidence that Alissa is something far beyond human, supernatural, while the other three soldier second classes were cut down by Masamune, and even Sephiroth was unable to overcome the Swordmaster. Alissa somehow survived unscathed, so it is very likely that Alissa is indeed something beyond mortal. There are three violet orbs that seem to emanate from Miss Goldie, as well as follow her movements. It is possible, though, that the two are not one, just related somehow. And this violet energy, hitherto unseen in the first soldier possibility, has godlike power, fusing with the static to bleed differing realities together without the apparition of the white light. From the camcorder footage to 3D spacetime that is clearly not camcorder footage because Bachman can be seen with his device in the background. Who or what has this kind of reality mixing power and awareness? Jenova has demonstrated the ability to mix realities without the white light, but Jenova's hallmark is the horizontal black band, even in the first soldier. So what is this then? And why is this power and what it reveals primarily focused on Alissa and Sephiroth? Of much greater curiosity is, this same violet light is almost certainly responsible for the violet dreams to come, including the revelation of truth about the unmanifest to manifest, the true nature of reality and what is fact and fiction, the non-linearity of time. These truths could one day intensely embolden desperately imperiled soldiers first class. Things to consider as this episode unfolds. Jenova's color is not violet, it's red. We even see this invasive coloration in Hojo's phantasm, but for an instant. In addition, while Sephiroth has demonstrated immense awareness of realities, Jenova has not, to be explored more in a future video. And while Ore Sephiroth's endgame has been an impregnable mystery, Watashi Sephiroth's plans have generally been more obvious. We often know what the insane god is trying to do. This violet energy, this Alissa Goldie, is neither red nor obvious. Why would this being wish to meddle with this memory, since Sephiroth attains Masamune either way, and runs into Angeal either way, and as coincidence generally does not exist on Gaia. And now that the chains of fate are broken, which was not true for Wedge of Chapter 12, it is more likely that Alissa is demonstrating awareness of the future, a certain level of omniscience, this manner of enigma and power. If Alissa ended up being Minerva, rising to meet the creation-perverting danger of Jenova, I wouldn't be surprised. A clue as to why such a being, whoever Alissa is, would be in this memory of Sephiroth's, is the location of where they found her. A forbidden zone, covered with ash and glass dust. Something with incredible heat scorched this land, and yet the buildings remain intact. That the buildings remain intact is even drawn attention to. With that in mind, I don't believe that this ruination is a result of a meteor impact. Though if it was due to a meteor, hopefully we'll either see a crater or a suspiciously round lake as manner of confirmation. Rather, I believe that this destruction was left after a great battle that was fought between immense powers, both mortal and immortal. Though the Emerald Witch and the Shadow Blood Queen could have been involved in this battle, it would not have been limited to just them, as neither of their colors is violet. The Shadow Blood Queen, also known as Jenova, is red. The Emerald Witch is green. Red is the bottom of the color spectrum. Green is the center, the heart chakra. For there to be balance in the cosmos, something that Bahamut of a Cetra story talks about, there should be one more great power occupying violet, the opposite of red. I believe Alissa and this violet light are this great being, and this ruination was left by magics far beyond mortal ken being unleashed. We shall see. Great implications. One day to follow this chapter, the violet coloration and Sephiroth will become one. In this episode 2 of The First Soldier, we are likely going to learn how, and we will understand emotionally the significance of why. In this one chapter, we had 4 different kinds of realities. The main story, the camcorder, the sepia-tinged reality, and the violet dreams, all interweaving with each other, and doing so by rational, likely unbreakable means or rules. Fact, fiction, perspective, reality, questions with answers that lie upon an immutable bedrock of reason we need only find for ourselves. We may never know what the rules of this multiverse all are, but by the end of this episode, we are likely to be given a tantalizing peek behind the curtains. Truth, something the insane god undoubtedly has also seen, so we may begin to learn what he truly wants. If the braid does show up in the Beagle's 3D spacetime reality, then therein exists indefatigable proof of the unmanifest being made manifest, much as the black and holy materia were in Rebirth. And suppose this braid made manifest can only be done on Masamune due to the power necessary, then how is Cloud able to make manifest the unmanifest by nothing more than someone touching him as Zack did? I don't know if this is anything at all, but Sephiroth loves his mother, possibly as the only thing he loves more than himself. And I'm talking about Ore Sephiroth here. If he knows that dreams are real as memories and everything else in creation, and he knows that Cloud can make anything manifest from the unmanifest, he need only touch them, or they touch him. Why is Sephiroth, even Ore Sephiroth, so obsessed with Cloud? Is this violet goddess meddling as Jenova is? But she's attempting to give Sephiroth a reason to be so obsessed that is not driven by ego, the need to not end, but instead is driven by love. Personal love, not cosmic love, but love nonetheless. Whatever the truth ends up being, just like Cloud, the avatar of creation, the avatar of death, Sephiroth seems to be an actor in a cosmic play that bears within it unimaginable omniscience and unimaginably large cogs that ever turn. Just actors in a play with their comings and goings. Whatever could break such an existence? Love changes everything. Imagination adventurers, I bid thee adieu.